The tension inside Vision Tech's glass wall conference room was thick enough to choke on. The kind of tension that made the air feel heavy, like it carried the weight of every unspoken fear floating between the polished table and the two bright overhead lights. Even the hum of the air conditioning sounded sharp, a low mechanical whine slicing through the silence. Every heartbeat in the room echoed, and every person sitting at that long table seemed to shrink an inch when Madison Cole, CEO and legend in ruthlessness, turned toward the young analyst standing stiffly on the other side. Madison Cole was infamous, a woman carved out of precision and discipline, ice-cold, unshakable, and untouchable. Her dark blazer sat perfectly on her shoulders, her black hair pulled back so tightly it looked like it could cut glass. Her heels clicked with purpose. Her jawline was sharp enough to intimidate an entire boardroom. And her eyes, the eyes that people in the company whispered about, were the kind that could freeze a river mid-flow. And now those eyes were fixed on Ethan Walker. "Look at me again, Mr. Walker," she said, her voice as smooth as steel being sharpened. "And you're fired." 8 executives froze in perfect unison. Someone inhaled too sharply and immediately regretted it. The air conditioner hummed like a scream in the background. Ethan Walker, 36, exhausted, widowed, and hollow-eyed from the kind of grief that carved trenches in a soul, didn't move, not even a twitch. His hand hovered in midair, pen floating above the report he'd never gotten present. He hadn't done anything. He had only looked at her, waiting for a signal, a cue, some direction. But at Vision Tech, looking at Madison Cole for more than 2 seconds was a sin that could cost a job. Every employee knew this. Every intern learned it on their first day. Ethan knew it too. "I'm sorry, Miss Cole," he murmured, voice soft, trained into polite submission after 8 months of walking on glass. Madison tilted her head slightly, the sharp angle casting a blade-like shadow across her cheek. "Sorry," she repeated, as if testing the word on her tongue. "You think that look wasn't defiance? You think I didn't see it?" Someone coughed. Someone else pretended to check their phone, even though it was set to silent. Everyone knew this tone, Madison's attack mode, a mode in which survival depended on becoming invisible. Ethan's pulse hammered, but not from fear. No, something deeper cracked inside him, something fragile he'd been holding tight for far too long. Maybe it was dignity, the last sliver of it he had left. "With all due respect," Ethan said slowly, every word measured, "I was simply waiting for your instruction." Silence. Heavy, stunned silence. A pin could have dropped and echoed like thunder. No one, absolutely no one, spoke to Madison Cole like that. People avoided standing too close to her. They spoke in whispers around her. They obeyed her as if she were a force of nature. Her eyes narrowed, dark and sharp and dangerous. Instruction? Her heels clicked as she took a step closer, each step like a gunshot against the hardwood floor. "You want instruction, Mr. Walker? Here's one. Employees of this company do not maintain eye contact with me for more than 2 seconds. You just looked at me for 5. That's insubordination." Every instinct in Ethan screamed at him to look down, apologize, beg for mercy. But his mind was somewhere else, back home, where his 6-year-old daughter lay under unicorn blankets, bald from chemotherapy, but still smiling. Last night, she'd drawn him a stick figure picture with the words, "Daddy's my hero." And suddenly, Madison Cole wasn't the scariest thing in his life. Losing his job wasn't the worst thing that could happen. He'd already survived worse. He'd already buried the love of his life. He was already fighting every day to keep his little girl alive. So he stood straight. "If that's reason enough for termination," he said, voice steadier than he felt, "then maybe this isn't a healthy place for anyone to work." Another silence. But this one was different. This one rippled with disbelief. Madison didn't blink. Something flickered in her eyes. Not fury, not superiority. Something else, recognition, discomfort, a tiny, hidden fracture in her armor. She thrived on intimidation, on the collapse of others, on fear. But this man, this tired, devastated, unyielding man wasn't afraid of her, and that terrified her. "My office," she said softly, the softest and deadliest tone she possessed. 6 p.m., bring your things." She left the room without another word. The moment the door clicked shut, the entire room exhaled at once. "Dude," whispered Ryan Blake from marketing, sweating bullets. "You're dead." No one talks back to her. The last guy who didn't even make it to lunch. Amy Thompson, Madison's assistant, gathered her folders with shaking hands. "Ethan, I'm sorry," she whispered. "She's going to crush you." Ethan slid his tablet into his bag calmly. "She already did," he said. "She just doesn't know it yet." Downstairs, 6 hours until execution. Ethan's desk sat among endless gray cubicles under fluorescent lights that felt like interrogation lamps. He began packing. Photos of Lily, the tiny ceramic mug she painted for him, his half-empty thermos that always smelled faintly of hospital hallways. He pictured the conversation he'd have tonight. "Daddy, did you have a good day?" And him forcing a smile. He felt sick. Across town, Madison Cole's penthouse. Madison poured herself red wine and didn't bother turning on the lights. The darkness hid everything she preferred not to see, like the empty dining table, the untouched living room, and the life built not out of joy but out of control. Her reflection in the glass window stared back. Beautiful, powerful, untouchable, and utterly alone. She closed her eyes. Then came the memory, sharp, merciless, unwelcome. A hotel suite, a white wedding dress, 3 months pregnant, a vibrating phone, a message from Daniel. "I'm sorry. I can't do this. I'm not ready to be a father." The heartbreak had been instant. The bleeding 2 weeks later had been worse. No heartbeat, the doctor said. She had buried that sentence deep, deep inside herself. She had built vision tech on top of that grave, brick by brick, wall by wall, emotionless, controlled, safe. Controlling everything meant nothing could ever hurt her again. She sipped her wine. Ethan Walker would be gone by 6. Another nobody erased. Another reminder that kindness was weakness. Yet something restless stirred. Something she didn't have a name for. Ethan, 5 a.m. He didn't wake up. He simply stopped pretending to sleep. Lily was curled beside him, her stuffed bear tucked under her arm. Her soft breathing kept him going. He brushed her forehead. No fever. Relief washed over him, shaky and fragile. He whispered his usual morning greeting to the empty bathroom. "Good morning, Grace." His voice cracked. "Today might be the day I lose my job, and I don't know how I'll keep our little girl safe." He ran the numbers in his head like a ritual. $12,000 a month for treatment, $186,000 already in debt, savings running out by February. The math didn't lie. The future was a cliff. Soon Lily appeared in the doorway, dragging her unicorn blanket. "Daddy, going to work early again?" He lifted her, ignoring the tremor in his arms. "I have an important meeting today." She squinted at him. "You look sad again." "I'm just tired." "Liar," she said gently. "But it's okay. I lie to you sometimes, too." His heart broke cleanly in two. "When I get better," she whispered, "will you smile for real again?" He hugged her tight. "I love you, Lily, more than anything in this universe." Even Pluto? Even Pluto. 7:30 a.m., Ethan at Vision Tech. He finished his resignation letter before Madison could fire him. He opened his private journal to his late wife. "Dear Grace, I'm scared. I can't afford Lily's treatment anymore. I'm losing my job today. Please send me a sign that I can do this." He closed the file. Outside, the Chicago skyline shone gold and cold. His phone buzzed. "Mrs. Carter, Lily ate breakfast. Took her meds. She's drawing you as a superhero again." Superhero. If only. At that same moment, across the city, Madison Cole stared at her own reflection and whispered, "Control means never feeling anything." But today, she was wrong, because in less than 12 hours, she would feel everything. 6 p.m., the meeting. Ethan stood outside Madison's office, holding the cardboard box containing what was left of his professional life. The sunset painted the glass walls gold. Madison sat inside like a queen in a fortress of glass and steel. He knocked. "Come in." She didn't look up. "Set your laptop on the desk." He obeyed. "You'll receive your compensation per your contract," she said, pen slicing paper. Your performance was adequate. Adequate, he repeated under his breath. Don't take it personally. It's just business. The words hit hard, harder than she knew. Then his phone vibrated. Over and over. Urgent notifications flooded the screen. Chicago Memorial Hospital. Patient, Lily Walker. Urgent fever alert. Then a call. Mrs. Carter's voice shook. Ethan, thank God. Lily's fever is 39 and rising. They said to bring her in immediately. He was already moving. My daughter's in the hospital, he said, rushing out. This is more important than your paperwork. Madison froze as the elevator doors closed. Then something unexpected happened. She looked down at the phone he'd left behind. The screen lit up. A little bald girl holding a drawing. Daddy is my hero. The phone unlocked. His journal opened. Dear Grace, I'm scared. Madison felt something tear open inside her chest. For the first time in years, she cried. Real tears. She grabbed her keys and ran. Outside, traffic jam. Ethan couldn't get a ride share. Panic clawed at him. Then a silver Porsche screeched to a stop beside him. The passenger door swung open. Get in, Madison said. You're kidding. Chicago Memorial. I'll drive. He hesitated for half a second, then climbed in. The city blurred around them as she sped through traffic, knuckles white. For the first time in years, Madison felt fear, not for herself, but for a child she'd never met. Chicago Memorial Hospital. Emergency. Ethan ran ahead. Nurses rushed. Doors swung open. Madison stood in the waiting area, breath shaking. She should leave. This wasn't her world. But she couldn't. She stayed. After what felt like a lifetime, Dr. Patricia Miller appeared. She has a bacterial infection, the doctor said. But you got her here in time. She'll be okay. Madison's knees nearly buckled. Ethan emerged, exhausted, eyes red. She's stable. He stared at Madison. You didn't have to do that. I know, she whispered. I honestly don't know why I did. Then a tiny voice in the bed. Daddy? Who's that? Ethan smiled softly. That's the nice lady who helped us. Lily smiled weakly. She's pretty. Madison's heart cracked wide open. You're the strong one, Lily, Madison whispered. Are you Daddy's friend? Lily asked. Madison froze. Ethan hesitated. Lily didn't. You should be. Daddy needs more friends. Madison swallowed hard. I'll stay for a little while, she said. And that little while became the entire night. The days after the fun leak felt like walking through a world made of thin glass. Every step sounded like a crack. Every thought felt like it might shatter something. Amanda and I didn't talk about the kiss. We didn't talk about the hand-holding. We didn't talk about the fact that, for a moment in that parking lot, both of us had looked at each other like we'd found the one thing that had been missing for years. But we didn't hide either. She brought me coffee the next morning at the office. Quiet, fragile, but intentional. She set it on my desk without a word. I didn't say anything either, but our eyes lingered for 1 second too long, and something unspoken passed between us. A promise, maybe, or a warning, or both. The board froze all community projects pending investigation. The rumor mill spun itself dizzy. Everyone had a theory. Everyone had a culprit. Everyone had someone they thought should be fired. I had never felt my chest so tight at work before, not because I was scared of being blamed, but because Amanda sat across the hall, carrying her own storm, and there was nothing I could do to shield her from it. 3 days later, HR called us both upstairs. That walk felt like a death march. Amanda kept her hands in her pockets, chin down, but I could see her jaw shaking. When the elevator doors closed, she exhaled shakily and whispered, "No titles, no rules, remember?" I nodded, side by side. Side by side, she echoed. The HR director, Mrs. Leland, didn't even look up when we walked in. She shuffled papers, clicked her pen, arranged her glasses. Every theatrical pause designed to intimidate. Finally, she lifted her gaze. "Sit." We did. She folded her hands. The good news is no one is being fired. Amanda's shoulders dropped in relief. Mine too, but I didn't let it show. The bad news, Mrs. Leland continued, is that someone did access restricted folders and forward documents to external stakeholders. Amanda froze. I felt my pulse spike. It wasn't her, I said sharply before Amanda could open her mouth. She didn't. Mrs. Leland raised a hand. We know. We both blinked. We traced the breach back to one of the junior analysts in accounting, she said. He admitted everything. Thought he was helping transparency. The board has addressed it. The issue is resolved. Amanda's lips parted. Confusion. Relief. A little disbelief. But Mrs. Leland wasn't finished. However, she said, your relationship, professional or otherwise, put the department at risk of bias during the investigation. I swallowed hard. We weren't. Yes, Amanda whispered, cutting me off. We were. Another shock. She didn't look away from HR. Her spine straightened, her voice steady. He deserves honesty, she said softly. You want clarity? Fine. I care about him. Deeply. Mrs. Leland's eyebrows shot up. I see. My breath left me all at once. Amanda continued. But that doesn't mean we can't work ethically. We haven't broken policy. We haven't compromised the department. We've been nothing but professional. And dedicated. I added, we're the ones who reported the breach. Mrs. Leland pushed her glasses up her nose. Be that as it may, this situation complicates the environment. The board has decided that, for now, you two cannot work in the same reporting chain. My stomach dropped, meaning Amanda is being transferred to the South District branch, effective immediately. Amanda stiffened. I went cold. No, I said, there has to be another arrangement. Amanda touched my arm, barely, like a whisper of a touch, but it shut me up instantly. It's okay, she said quietly. I'll go. I turned to her. Amanda. She didn't look at me, but her voice was fragile and brave at the same time. If this is the price of doing the right thing, I'm willing to pay it. Mrs. Leland cleared her throat. You'll pack up today. Amanda nodded once, then rose and left without another word. I stared after her, throat burning. Mrs. Leland waited for the door to close before speaking. You care about her. More than you know. She sighed. Then let this transition happen. She won't be fired. Her reputation will stay clean. Sometimes protecting someone means letting distance settle the dust. I didn't answer, because I hated it. But she was right. I found Amanda packing her things into a cardboard box, her hands trembling around the mug she always kept on her desk, the one with the faded mountain print. The one she once told me she bought on the day she decided to stop running from her past. She didn't look up when I entered. You didn't have to defend me, she said softly. I'll always defend you, I said. She swallowed. That's what scares me. I moved closer. Amanda. No, she said quickly, turning toward me. Her eyes were shiny, but she blinked the tears back with stubborn precision. Don't make this harder. I don't want distance, I said. Neither do I. Her voice cracked. But this job matters, and we can't be selfish. I clenched my jaw. What about us? She inhaled sharply. What about us? She finally looked at me. Pain, want, hope, fear, all of it tangled up. We kiss, I said. You can pretend it didn't happen. But I felt it. Her lips quivered. I did too. Then don't walk away. I'm not, she whispered. I'm just not allowed to walk beside you right now. Silence settled between us like dust on old furniture, quiet but heavy. Then she stepped forward. She took my hand, held it tight. But when things settle, she murmured, I want to try. No secrets, no rumors, no titles, just us. My chest felt too small. And if it doesn't settle? I asked. She smiled, sad and soft. Then I'll settle it myself. I huffed a breath. That's cheating. She shrugged. Life cheated first. We stood there for a long moment, hands intertwined. No theatrics, no speeches. Just two people finally admitting they were tired of pretending they didn't want each other. When we finally let go, it felt like prying apart two pages stuck together by rain. But we did it gently, deliberately, with the promise of return tucked between our palms. She picked up her box. I opened the door for her. She walked out. She didn't look back. But halfway down the hallway, she lifted one hand and brushed her fingertips lightly against her collarbone, the exact spot where my fingers had rested the night our worlds crashed together. A silent message. One I understood perfectly. Soon, Amanda left that afternoon. The office felt wrong without her, like a song missing its own harmony line, like breath without lungs. I finished my reports, sat through meetings, answered emails that no longer mattered. Everything felt dull. That evening, rain started again. Not heavy, just enough to miss the streetlights and leave the city glowing faintly, as if the world was still deciding whether to cry or not. I stepped outside. Amanda stood on the far edge of the parking lot, leaning against her old silver car, waiting. Her box sat in the passenger seat. She held her coat tight around her. Her hair was damp. Her eyes were tired but warm. "You came," she said. "I always will." We didn't move toward each other. We didn't kiss. We didn't make promises that could snap under pressure. We just stood there, letting the quiet fill in the empty spaces, letting the rain sound like forgiveness. Amanda took a breath. "So, what now?" I echoed the words she once said to me. "Now we start over." She stared at me. "No titles," I said. Her eyes softened. "No rules." She walked to me slowly, deliberately, her steps splashing softly through the thin puddles. When she reached me, she slid her arm through mine, just like she had the night everything changed. It wasn't a kiss. It wasn't fireworks. It wasn't the world exploding into clarity. It was better. It was choosing each other in the quiet moments. Choosing each other when it wasn't dramatic. Choosing each other even when the world was messy, inconvenient, complicated. Her head rested lightly on my shoulder. My hand covered hers. The rain eased. The city around us breathed. And for the first time in a long time, both of us felt something like peace. Maybe even a beginning.